Hi, and welcome to Reddit Confessions. Today's story. Let's just say, if your partner ever tells you, don't check the laundry, check the laundry. It was a Sunday evening. Cold, quiet, unusually silent for a house that usually echoed with the sound of my wife humming some 2000s indie tune while cleaning. But not that weekend. She was gone. Off to explore. That's the exact word she used. I need a weekend to explore something new, for myself. I remember the way she smiled, like it wasn't a big deal. Like I was supposed to nod and say, sure, babe, go become a butterfly or whatever. And I did. I nodded. Because I was stupid. Or maybe just tired. I let her pack her bag, kiss my cheek, and walk out with a duffel that had her red lace set in it, the one she hadn't worn around me in over a year. I told myself I wouldn't spiral. I told myself I'd just clean the house, catch up on my podcast backlog, and let her do whatever, personal journey, she needed to do. But around hour 38 of her being gone and sending only one message, having so much fun. Don't wait up face blowing a kiss, something inside me snapped. Not in a dramatic movie way. I didn't punch a wall or scream into the void. I just opened the laundry basket. That's all I did. And that was enough. Because in that laundry basket, under a crumpled hoodie and a towel that still smelled like her shampoo, was a crumpled receipt, a hotel bar tab from a place 2 towns over. 2 cocktails. 2 desserts. 1 room number scrawled in pen on the back. I stared at it for a long time. Not because I didn't know what it meant. I knew exactly what it meant. But because I didn't want it to be real. I wanted to go back to just assuming she was at some dusty yoga retreat with essential oils and overcooked quinoa. But instead, she was sipping martinis in room 214 with someone who clearly wasn't meditating. And in that moment, I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even say a word. I just stood up, went to the bedroom, and started packing. Not her things. Mine. Because while she was out, exploring, I made my own decision. She thought I'd wait. She thought I'd forgive. But by the time she came back, I was already gone. I hadn't planned to leave. Not at first. When I found the receipt, my brain didn't scream run, it whispered prove it wrong. Some part of me, the small pathetic part that still believed in our late-night serial chats and the way she used to trace circles on my back when I couldn't sleep, wanted to believe it was just a coincidence. That maybe, room 214 was a joke, a dare, a prank between friends. But deep down, I knew better. We always know. We just pretend we don't until the evidence is too loud to ignore. So I packed. Not a dramatic storm-out packing. I folded each shirt. I zipped up my duffel slowly. I unplugged my phone charger and even double-knotted the laces on my sneakers like I was getting ready for a long walk. I didn't know where I'd go, only that it wouldn't be here when she returned. The space we shared suddenly felt contaminated, like breathing in it would make me sicker by the hour. But as I stood by the door with my bag, I hesitated. I hadn't said anything. And for some reason, I didn't want to vanish without a word. Not because she deserved closure, she didn't. But because I needed to release something. Maybe that was weak. Or maybe it was brave. I don't know anymore. So I grabbed a notepad from the kitchen drawer. One of those cheap ones with half the pages missing. And I started writing. Not a goodbye. Not even a confrontation. Just truths. Raw, quiet truths. You said you needed space. I gave it. You said you needed time. I waited. You said you wanted to feel alive again. I supported it, even when it felt like I was dying quietly beside you. You wanted freedom. So I'm giving you that, too. Enjoy room 214. The towels are probably cleaner than your conscience. I left the note right under the mug she always used for chamomile tea. The one with the crack in the handle. She never let me throw it away. Said it had history. I guess now everything does. I locked the door behind me without slamming it. No rage. No scene. Just silence. That kind of silence that rings louder than any fight ever could. I walked down the street like a stranger in my own life, duffel over my shoulder, wondering how long I'd been blind. Wondering if she even planned to tell me, or if this was just going to be a secret she tucked away forever, like that bar tab she forgot to burn. That night, I didn't sleep. I rented a cheap motel across town, where the sheets smelled like bleach and the front desk guy looked at me like I was either recently divorced or freshly robbed. Maybe both. I kept refreshing her location, the one she forgot I had access to on our shared calendar app. Around 10:42 p.m., her little dot stopped moving. Hotel Greenrock. Not a yoga studio. Not a retreat. Just a plain old hotel with cheap champagne and even cheaper morals. And then, nothing. No message from her. No calls. Just silence. Until 7:11 the next morning. Hey babe, almost home. Can't wait to cuddle up later. She didn't know I knew. But she was about to find out. I don't know what reaction I expected. Guilt, maybe. Tears. Shock. But when she walked through that door just after noon on Sunday, she was smiling. Her duffel bounced against her hip, sunglasses still on her face like she'd just come back from a spa, not from destroying a marriage. She didn't even notice the silence at first. She called out my name like everything was normal, like we were going to order takeout and binge-watch that cooking show she always fell asleep to. She walked past the living room, humming under her breath. That same old tune she always sang when she felt pleased with herself. And that's when she saw it. Or rather, didn't see it. No coat on the rack. No sneakers by the door. No phone charger in the outlet. The picture frame from our trip to Washington was gone. So was the framed anniversary letter she made me hang above the hallway thermostat, the one she hadn't read in years. The shelf where we kept our little souvenirs. Empty. The apartment wasn't stripped, just light. Like someone had peeled away the presence of a person who used to live there. Which, to be fair, is exactly what I'd done. I watched from across the street. Yeah. I know. Cowardly. Creepy even. But I had to see her face. I needed to know what it looked like when a liar got caught mid-smile. At first, confusion. Then her steps slowed. She set her bag down. Walked into the kitchen. Stopped at the table. I knew the note was still there, right next to her cracked mug, the one I'd filled with dried lavender before I left. Lavender. Her favorite. Because a small part of me was still the same pathetic fool who couldn't completely hate her. She read the note. Her head tilted just slightly, like she was trying to compute a joke she didn't get. And then her phone came out. She dialed. My phone, the one I'd taken with me, buzzed 3 times. I didn't answer. Then a message came in. Emery. What is this? Where are you? Then another. Are you okay? This isn't funny. Then finally. If this is about this weekend, I can explain. I nearly laughed. That last text, it was a work of art. A masterpiece of guilt dodging. I can explain. I imagined her pacing the kitchen, trying to figure out which version of the truth she could get away with. Would it be a misunderstanding? A joke from a friend? Some spiritual retreat exercise I misinterpreted? I waited 10 minutes. She called again. Then again. On the 5th try, I picked up. I didn't speak. She said my name. Softly at first. Then again, louder. She sounded worried, but not the right kind of worried. She sounded like someone who was worried about being found out, not someone worried about me. Then I said, calmly, "Did you enjoy room 214? There was a pause. One of those long, heavy pauses where the weight of every lie catches up all at once. I didn't hear anything for several seconds, just the faint sound of her breathing, almost like the air had been sucked out of her lungs. "Emery," she finally whispered. I hung up. No yelling. No closure. I gave her the same silence she gave me for 3 days straight. That evening, she posted a photo of our dog on social media with the caption, "Finally home, missed my boys." The comments section exploded with hearts and "cutest couple" messages from people who had no idea what kind of performance they were watching. It was almost funny. Almost. That night, she didn't sleep in our bed. Because I wasn't there. And she didn't know where I'd gone. But someone else did. Because someone else had sent me that photo in the first place. The morning after her return was oddly still. The kind of stillness that feels staged, like a quiet before a storm or the silence in a courtroom just before a verdict is read. I hadn't gone far. I was staying at a small guesthouse across town, the kind of place people usually use to escape their lives, not face them. No one asked questions there. No one cared who you were or what you were running from. That suited me perfectly. I hadn't replied to any of Marla's messages. There were 12 unread texts, 3 missed calls, and 1 voicemail that started with, "Please, Emery, just let me talk," and ended with her crying. I didn't listen to the middle part. I didn't need to. I knew the script by heart. I'd heard versions of it from friends, coworkers, movies, books. Betrayal doesn't come with unique dialogue. It always sounds eerily familiar. Like background static you just forgot to notice until it drowns you. Around 9:13 a.m., while I was nursing a bad coffee and watching the sun slice through the cheap curtains, I got a message from another number. A different one. No contact name. Just one line. She told him you were fragile. That you'd never find out. I stared at it for a full minute, maybe more. My thumb hovered over the screen. I didn't reply. 3 minutes later, another message came in. I was in the room next door. Heard everything. I thought you should know. Check your email. And there it was, an email with an audio file attached. Subject line, 214_wall. M4A. For a moment, my fingers went cold. It felt invasive, even cruel, to open it. But curiosity, mixed with something much darker, pushed me to hit play. Static at first. Then voices. Muffled, but distinct. Hers. And a man's. At first it was just small talk. Jokes. Laughter. And then it got real. "He has no idea," she said. "You think he'll find out?" he asked. "Even if he does, Emery doesn't have it in him. He folds. He always folds." Those words didn't just sting, they sliced. And the way she said my name, like it was some kind of punchline to a joke. Like I was a harmless puppy too dumb to bark. She kept talking. I used to pity him. But now. I just feel nothing. He's sweet, but being adored like that starts to feel suffocating. And the man replied, laughing. "Well, at least you're getting what you really want now." I stopped the recording there. I didn't need to hear more. I'd heard enough. My jaw was locked so tight I thought I might break a molar. Not from rage. Not even from heartbreak. From clarity. Cold, brutal clarity. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't confused. She was calculated. Detached. She wasn't spiraling, she was thriving. She'd rehearsed this. Probably played out every possible scenario in her head, except the one where I stopped folding. I messaged the unknown number back. "Who are you?" The reply came instantly. "Friend of a friend." Let's just say not everyone she lies to sleeps with her. It felt like the floor shifted beneath me. Someone out there was watching her. Someone who knew her, maybe even cared once, but saw through her the way I couldn't. And then the stranger sent one last message before going quiet. If I were you, I'd check the spa booking history under her name. There's a file on their website. Use her email. You'll see. I didn't want to look. I really didn't. But I did. And what I found? Marla had never booked anything at the retreat she claimed to be going to. Not under her name. Not under Sienna's. The place didn't even do group weekends. But what was booked, through her email, a lazy mistake, was a weekend romantic escape package at Hotel Greenrock. 2 guests. 1 king bed. Champagne package. Breakfast in bed. Her name. Her card. Her signature. All there. She hadn't just lied. She'd invested in it. She planned it, coordinated it, built it like a second life, all while holding my hand, calling me her rock, and saying she just needed space to grow. I didn't cry this time. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because there was nothing left to grieve. And that's when I knew, it was time to stop hiding. I didn't go to the house right away. That would have been the old me. The me who reacted, who swallowed betrayal like it was a test of my patience, like endurance was the same thing as strength. No. This time, I was done folding. Instead, I spent the entire day preparing something she'd never expect, a confrontation that didn't look like a scene from a drama, but more like a surgeon's scalpel, quiet, sharp, and irreversible. I started by gathering every receipt I could find. Not just from the hotel. I pulled our shared credit card history, searched her name in old email subscriptions, looked through archived photos that had gone unnoticed. Turns out, this weekend wasn't the first. It was just the first one I caught. There had been a second business trip 6 months ago that led to an art gallery in another city. Same guy. I knew because of a picture she accidentally uploaded to our shared drive months ago, a mirror shot, 2 wine glasses, his reflection half visible. Back then, I assumed it was just an old friend. I'd given her the benefit of the doubt so many times I should have charged interest. Once I had everything, I printed it. Every photo, every receipt, every message she'd sent him that I found buried in her backup cloud. She'd used her middle name for the secret email address, thinking I wouldn't ever guess it. I printed it all out and put it in a manila envelope. Not for her. For me. A reminder. A line in the sand. Then, just after 6 p.m. I sent her one final message. Dinner at 7. Your favorite place. If you want to talk, come alone. She replied in less than a minute. Yes. Of course. Emery, I've been trying to reach you. I was so scared. I've been sick over this. Sick. Right. She sounded like a student who forgot about a test and suddenly remembered when the principal called her name. I didn't respond. I just left the guest house, envelope in hand, and headed for the bistro on Ash Lane, the same place we went every year for our anniversary, the one where she cried the first time I told her I loved her. She arrived on time, looking like a woman auditioning for redemption. Hair curled. Soft makeup. Eyes wide and wet like a puppy behind a glass window. She sat across from me slowly, as if even her chair might reject her. Emery, she began, I know how this looks. I held up my hand. Calmly. No theatrics. This isn't about how it looks. It's about how it is. She swallowed. Her mouth opened, but I slid the envelope across the table before she could start. Read it. All of it. And don't speak until you're done. Her hands trembled a bit as she opened it. I watched her face change in real time, denial, confusion, recognition, then dread. It was all there, her lies, her secrets, her second life. Proof that she'd made a fool of me, not just once, but over and over. The napkin under her hands wrinkled as her grip tightened. By the time she looked up, her cheeks were red. "Who gave you this?" she asked, voice low. "Was it Sienna?" I didn't answer. I just stared. Then, she did something that surprised even me. She laughed. Not a real laugh, that bitter kind, like a balloon deflating too fast. "I guess I was never going to get away with it forever," she muttered. "I just thought, you'd never leave." That was the moment I realized she never feared losing me. She feared losing her power over me. There's a difference. And I'd given her that power for too long. "I'm not here to scream at you," I said. "I'm here to tell you something very simple." She leaned in. Defensive. Suspicious. "I'm done. This is the end. I'm walking away, and you're not going to stop me. I've already moved my things. I've already spoken to a lawyer. You'll get the papers soon. You're divorcing me." Her voice cracked like she couldn't believe I was the one walking away. Like it hadn't even occurred to her that the man she called fragile might actually be strong enough to end it himself. "You wanted space." I stood up. "Now you have it. All of it." And I walked out. No slam of the chair. No parting insult. No revenge speech. Just footsteps and silence. She didn't follow me. She didn't text that night. But the next morning, someone else did. The man from the hotel. I was sitting at the bus terminal when his message came through. I hadn't planned to be there. I wasn't traveling, I wasn't waiting for anyone. I was just wandering, trying to feel anonymous. That place, all the strangers, all the movement, the voices bouncing off tiled walls, it made the weight on my chest feel slightly lighter. Maybe because, in a place like that, no one knows who you are. No one cares what you just walked away from. I was nursing a coffee that had long gone cold when my phone vibrated. Unknown number. One message. No introduction. "You probably hate me. But you deserve to know the whole story." I stared at the screen, blinking slow, my mind already spinning. There was no signature. No name. But I knew who it had to be. I typed one word. "Who?" Seconds later, a reply. "Gavin. We met at the hotel. Marla told me you were separated. She said you were living with your parents after a breakdown." I couldn't breathe for a moment. Not because of the lie, I was used to those by now, but because of the level of it. She didn't just cheat. She didn't just betray. She created an entirely different version of me. A fictional character. Weak. Dismissed. Out of the picture. Gone. Another message came in before I could respond. "She never said your name at first. Not until I saw her ID in the glove box. I didn't like it. Something felt wrong. She was too polished. Too prepared." I asked around. I didn't know what that meant exactly, asked around. Maybe someone in her yoga group. Maybe someone on social media. It didn't matter. I'm not innocent. I slept with her. I believed what she told me. But I'm not okay being part of a lie like this. "You seem like a decent guy." It was the first time anyone had said that to me in weeks. I didn't know whether to be furious or grateful. I felt both. Gavin didn't stop texting. I left the hotel early Sunday morning. She was still asleep. I couldn't stay. It felt wrong. The things she said about you, like you were pathetic, broken. She didn't speak with hate. She spoke with boredom. That cut deeper than any insult could have. She didn't resent me. She just didn't feel anything. Then came the kicker. I thought I was the only one. But when I looked at her Instagram, I saw a comment from some guy with hearts. He looked familiar. Same guy from the spa where I work. He told me they'd been meeting up on and off for almost a year. My blood froze. There was more than just me. More than just Gavin. There was another. Possibly more than one. I stared at the tiled floor of the terminal and realized I had never actually known the woman I married. I had known a version she gave me, safe, clean, affectionate when it served her. But this wasn't one affair. It was a pattern. A strategy. And I had been the backup plan. The emotional storage unit she returned to when the lights went out elsewhere. I wrote back finally. Why are you telling me this now? His response was immediate. Because I figured it's only a matter of time before she spins a new version of the story, and you deserve to know what you're walking away from. Then he added. Check the date on the spa receipt again. I think you'll notice something. I dug into my bag and pulled out the file folder. I hadn't looked at it in a day, I couldn't. But now I flipped through it with shaking hands. The spa appointment was made on a Wednesday. But I hadn't noticed the time. It was at 3:45 p.m. And I remembered that exact Wednesday. I remembered because that was the day I came home early from work after my car battery died. I'd walked into an empty house, and Marla was running errands. She'd texted me to not wait up, to eat without her. Now I knew. She wasn't at the store. She was with him. Or someone else. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the corner of my room in the guest house, staring at the wall like it might break open and swallow everything. The next morning, I made one last call. To Sienna. Marla's best friend. Her alibi. She picked up after 2 rings, cheerful at first, until I said my name. Her voice dropped. I asked her one question. Was she ever with you that weekend? A long pause. Then, quietly. No. She told me not to answer if you called. Said it was just for a weekend. Just some space. I'm sorry, Emery. I didn't want to be involved. Click. I didn't need anything else. But I wasn't finished either. I was done being the guy who walked away quietly. It was time the people around her saw the real story, and not the polished, filtered, heart emoji version. I wasn't out for revenge. Not the dramatic kind. Not the kind that would get me on the news or trending in some morally gray Reddit thread. I didn't want to humiliate her. I didn't even want her to hurt. I just wanted one thing, for her mask to slip, in front of everyone who thought they knew her. I didn't want to be the only one carrying the weight of what she'd done. The truth deserved daylight, and for once, I wanted her to be the one fumbling in the dark. So I made a plan. Simple. Quiet. But devastatingly effective. It started with the photo, the one Gavin sent me, the mirror selfie. I cropped it, removed his reflection, and kept just enough of Marla to make her recognizable, the robe, the smirk, the unmistakable hotel curtains in the background. Then I took a screenshot of the spa booking confirmation, complete with her name, the timestamp, and a short, silent video clip of the hallway camera from our apartment building, the one that caught her kissing a man goodbye before slipping inside with grocery bags she never unpacked. None of it was vulgar. None of it explicit. Just pieces of truth. Disconnected on their own. Undeniable together. I uploaded the materials, no commentary, into a private Google Drive folder and created a link. Then I logged into our shared neighborhood group on Facebook. The one where Marla posted about yoga meetups and her handmade soy candles. The one where she was practically worshipped for her energy and positivity. I composed a single post. If you've ever wondered what exploring a new experience really means, here's what it looked like for me. I'm done pretending. I hope one day this version of the truth feels as empowering as the fantasy did. Drive link in comments. I hit post. And I left the page. I didn't watch the likes. I didn't monitor the comments section. I didn't wait to see if her friends defended her or tore her apart. I wasn't interested in playing jury. I just knew that whatever illusion she'd curated for herself was gone now, no takebacks, no reshaping the narrative into something more comfortable. I didn't hear from her for hours. And then, just before midnight, she called. I let it ring. She called again. And again. By the fourth time, I picked up, not because I wanted to hear her voice, but because I wanted her to hear mine. "You need help," she said, her voice trembling with something that sounded like panic, not regret. "You can't just expose people like that." I didn't respond. That was private, Emery. Between us. Now I laughed. Actually laughed. A raw, hollow sound that caught her off guard. "There hasn't been an us in a long time, Marla. You just kept the name because it was convenient." She started crying, the dramatic kind. Choked breaths, apologies, talk of therapy, of how she'd lost herself. It was surreal. Like watching someone audition for a role they already failed at. "I just wanted to feel wanted again," she said. And that was when it hit me, this had never been about me. Not really. I was just the placeholder. The comfort zone. The one who never left, so she could. "I'm not your audience anymore," I said. Then I hung up. I didn't block her. I didn't delete her number. I didn't rage post or spiral. I just turned off my phone and stepped outside. The sky was clear. Quiet. The air felt different, sharp, clean, like everything I'd carried for years had been swept away with the truth. The next morning, I got a text from Sienna. "I saw what you posted. I had no idea it went that deep. I'm sorry." Really. I didn't respond. Because I wasn't interested in apologies anymore. I wasn't interested in being understood. I was interested in one thing, moving forward. It's strange how quiet freedom sounds. You'd think it would be this big, cinematic moment, fireworks, music swelling, a sense of victory pulsing through your chest. But for me, it was the opposite. It was silence. Calm. A steady exhale after years of holding my breath in a life that didn't fit anymore. The final piece fell into place a week after I posted the truth. I'd already signed the divorce papers. Sent them without a note. No threats, no final speech. I moved into a small one-bedroom above a bookstore in the older part of town. It's not glamorous. The pipes groan at night, and the hallway light flickers like it's haunted. But it's mine. Every scratch in the floorboard and stain on the wall is honest. And after everything, I realized that honesty, not comfort, is what I'd been missing all along. Marla never replied to the papers. No dramatic plea, no public tantrum. I think she knew that whatever version of me she thought would stay broken, didn't exist anymore. Her friends stopped messaging me. Some unfollowed, others sent awkward, wishing you peace, DMs. I didn't reply to any of them. I wasn't looking for closure. I already had it. And then something unexpected happened. I found peace in the little things. Sunday mornings with no one around. Reading without checking the time. Making my own coffee exactly how I like it, without judgment or someone saying it's too bitter. I even picked up painting. Badly. But it's mine. And I smile now, not because everything's perfect, but because I finally know who I am when no one's lying to me. One night, while walking past a park, I saw a couple arguing. She was yelling, he was shrinking. And for a split second, I saw myself in him. The old version. The version who tolerated too much, for too little. I almost walked on. But instead, I sat on a bench nearby and just existed. Quietly. Free. So yeah, that's the story. Not about revenge. Not about rage. About a man who finally stopped waiting to matter, and chose to walk toward the life he actually deserved. And to you watching this, if you've made it this far, thank you. Really. It means more than you know. Have you ever had a moment like this? A turning point that cracked your world open, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you? If so, I'd love to hear it in the comments. This has been Reddit Confessions, where the truth finally speaks. Thanks for being here.